and we finally have the first look at her costume. Andy Muschietti posted an image, and it's basically just her chest piece with the glyph, and it has the Kryptonian. It's basically like the Kryptonian suit for Man of Steel, and but a female version. So I think that was a cool design of the logo, definitely. But the red, I don't think I quite love it right now. I'll have to see how that looks on camera and in the movie. Because it's just a square piece for right now, right? We don't have a full image. So based on what I see so far, I'm not as intrigued by that red coloring. But I hope it looks great in on camera and on in the movie. But what I'm excited for is her look. We finally have some set pictures that are provided by our very own Ascended Ancient, who actually went to the set and took these pictures. So thank you so much for providing these.
Yeah.
And I really liked watching all these pictures, and we finally get our first look at her costume from afar, and she's definitely wearing pants, which is an immediate yes for me. And I was very adamant for her getting pants because that was very much in line with the Kryptonian suits that we saw in Man of Steel, and also it kind of looked cooler to me, rather than a skirt. So this fan art is what convinced me that her look is pretty amazing. The suit looks amazing, and her hairstyle, she has short hair and natural color, so that is also a plus for me. I really like this. So far, I like everything about this, just except that, the red color on the top of the chest. I'll have to see that in full to finally make my mind up about that. But apart from that, these set photos are really cool. There are some great Easter eggs in here, like the vehicles and all that stuff are actually in the movie. They have Central City and Gotham City and all that written, all over that. So that's also pretty interesting. Again, thanks to Senate Ancient. And also we have the glyphs here that the with the Kryptonian language on it. Um, Mar, you've seen this. You saw this tweet, and what did you think of the look, firstly, and then what do you think about this language?
Yeah, so the look, I was surprised to see it's very similar to kind of Henry Cavill's Batman v Superman 1 in terms of the material and design on that, which gives me some hope that maybe Andy Muschietti is respectful or is a fan of Zack Snyder's work, because the Batman logo one had the blood on it, a very Watchmen esque reference, stuff like that. So maybe he's a fan of Zack Snyder's. That's what I talked about him knowing that he can't really go too hard against the Snyder previous movies, or he'll face a lot of backlash online, even though Warner Brothers wasn't to. We'll have to see because we don't know yet. I'm not like 100% excited for the Flash movie because I need to see a trailer, I need to see what they're doing, if they're being respectful. But look, at the end of the day, if he makes a good, honest Flash movie with these cool characters popping in and out, then I'm going to have a lot of fun with it, of course. But yeah, the design is pretty cool. I'd have to see it in full, but from the set photo as well, it looks like that she has red around her shoulder and chest area. The bright red, and the rest of it's kind of that kind of darker blue. And yeah, from what we've seen on set, it looks pretty cool. But again, will probably go through post production with some effects and coloring and stuff like that, and of course the CGI cape. So yeah, I think that's all going to be awesome. But in terms of the language on the front, in the Batman v Superman suit, there's a Joseph Campbell quote on Henry Cavill's suit in Kryptonian. I can't remember what exactly the quote was, but Zack Snyder put it there, and it's in Kryptonian. And the woman, Dr. Christine Schreier, she created the Kryptonian language for Man of Steel and Zack Snyder's Justice League. She created all this, just the letters and everything, and it was pretty cool how she was able to do this. And she was asked on Twitter, so like, is it the exact same from the Batman v Superman suit? Because people were saying, oh, that Andy Muschietti is using the exact same quote, the exact same design, and then some people were saying, well, it looks a little bit different in places. I'm not too sure if it is. But then she confirmed that it's the same Kryptonian language. So that means it's not creating its own thing. It is the language used for Man of Steel and Zack Snyder's Justice League, but it does mean something different. It's not the exact same quote that's on Henry Cavill's Superman suit. So my question is this Supergirl from an alternate timeline? Is she from the main DCU timeline? Why is there Central City cars and cabs in the same city that Michael Keaton, or maybe it's Bruce Wayne? I don't know about who owns the car, but then Sasha Kala is there. Did they all come into this universe, or has Flash reset everything to now where in this world the Flash exists, Michael Keaton, Batman exists, Sasha Kala exists, and in this world we have one woman also because she's on one of the buses. So that means in this world, there's no Ben Affleck Batman, there's no Henry Cavill Superman. I'm not too sure. I still kind of have a mild prediction that the new Justice League, which I hope doesn't happen, is like Michael Keaton as a mentor towards Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg maybe, and then Ben Affleck's retired and Henry Cavill's not in this universe anymore. That's the worst case scenario for me. But yeah, I think it's interesting how they're using the same Kryptonian language and it means something different. So maybe Andy and Machete will tell us when the press tour happens. But yeah, it's I'm sure the suit will be fine. And I'm getting very Captain Marvel vibes. I know you are as well, KC, especially the hair on Tasha Kala, the short hair. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what's exactly going on here.
Aaron, what do you think?
I'm definitely intrigued by the fact that that it looks like it's basically Henry Cavill's Superman suit in this design wise, other than the red and obviously the slight differences in the shield. But I like that. That actually keeps, I was like you, I was worried that they were going to go the skirt route, which I never really liked in the comics or in the panels that I saw. But I love that it's the one piece suit like Henry Cavill's, which implies that she received it in the same way that Henry's Superman received it from a Kryptonian ship that produced it, like made it. And maybe each quote that is on the glyphs is unique to each person that wears the suit. Because we do know that, I don't know if it's been established in the universe yet, but Superman chooses the black suit in Justice League, and we see the blue and red in the background. But do we know yet that maybe these suits can actually transform? Maybe they can change. And if that's the case, I think that she might end up being his daughter, his and Lois's daughter, and that he gave her the suit. And the suit has now changed to adapt to a new user. It's almost like an Iron Man suit, but without it's so above the technology level. It's Kryptonian, just how they can build the computers that transform into different people to talk. Maybe this suit is some kind of like intelligence. And now the quote says something that pertains more to her life. But I like the way it looks, and I'm glad there's a full cape too. I love the full cape instead of the half cape.
Yeah.
And I think I wish they would release a higher resolution photo, because you're gonna have people that are coming out of the woodwork now and being like, "Well, this looks terrible." It's all like there's folds and stuff all in it. It doesn't look like it fits well or something. And I think people forget that these suits are put on, and just like in the Spider-Man stuff in the MCU, they're put on, and then there's an extra layer of polish that's done to them in post-production. And since it's so far away, we can't really see if there's like the tracking dots for CG on there. But I would assume that they're going to do some post-production to it. And there's color grading and things like that, because I've seen a few people not happy with it from the set photos. But I think we just need to wait and see. And I think once Andy Muschietti releases the other close-ups he's going to do, I think we're going to get a team pick, or maybe not a team pick, but like a group photo of like all of the main characters of this movie at one time.
Is your thinking something similar to what with Justice League 17, the kind of Bohemian Rhapsody in the dark? That'd be cool.
That would be that would be incredible. Yeah, do almost like a silhouetted kind of photo of everybody together. I think that would be cool, because I mean we kind of know, we already know 100% what Michael Keaton's Batman suit is going to look like. It's pretty much, we can assume it's the return suit from the way that the the six pack looks on it. Whereas in the
Yes.
first '89 Batman film, it's more organic, and then in the second, in Returns, it's like a
Even the
mechanical
logo is kind of
looking.
different.
Yeah, yeah, and it's the Bat logo from Returns. So we kind of know what he's going to look like, and we kind of have an idea already of what the new Flash suit looks like because the concept art was released at
Yeah.
Fandom of the new suit with the way that the electricity goes through the inside of it. It's like a circuit board. But the two things that we're in the dark on are Sasha Calle's Supergirl suit, like the full way it looks, and also, are we getting a new Ben Affleck Batman suit, or is he even going to appear in the suit, or is he just going to be Bruce Wayne? So I think the more information we get on this movie, the more it's going to draw some more people in, especially me, because I'm big on costumes. I love superhero costumes in media. So yeah, I think it's looking good. I just think we just need more information and like a teaser or something.
I agree. And what do you guys think of the Wonder Woman picture that's on the bus here? And basically it says Central City Children Fund, and it says here Wonder Woman supports CCCF.
Yeah, she's kind of because that's what she is, and she's kind of the face of goodness, and being kind. Even though in Zack Snyder's Justice League in the opening sequence, she fucks some terrorists up big time against the walls.
She's the
maybe this was
center of the Justice League, I think, in Zack's universe because she's the oldest. So maybe that's also why they're
yeah.
well, apart from her movie being super successful, maybe that's why they're doing
Yeah.
that.
And also, like Batman, you wouldn't have like in this world for advertising or promotion, you wouldn't really have Batman on it because of his past ventures, and Batman v Superman, marking criminals and stuff like that. You wouldn't really have Superman either, maybe because the snapping Zod's neck. So for me, kind of Wonder Woman is probably the best brand, the best face for superheroes to have on something like this. So it kind of makes sense in a way that would use her instead of the other Justice League members.
I like the fact that they're including little things like that, because what we were talking about earlier with Suicide Squad, where you have like you don't beat people over the head with the universe stuff, but little things like that just kind of tell you like, oh, okay, it's a connective tissue to what is going on. So you see a bus in the background with Wonder Woman on it, and you're like, oh, okay, so this is we're in the same kind of realm or whatever. I do wish that they had used a different image actually, because that was a really widely used
That's what I was
promotional
gonna
image
ask
from
because
the first. Oh, okay.
because that looks like
Yeah, the first
something
Wonder
from our world, not in their world. So just like Shazam,
Yeah.
you have Ben Affleck Batman and Henry Cavill Superman's merchandise for some reason. Just like that, you have Wonder Woman's promotional poster on a bus. So do you think that in that universe, Wonder Woman actually existed, or it's just a franchise in that universe?
I don't know if they go the route of like, if somebody mentions something to Flash, maybe he goes into this alternate universe, and they're like, "Hey, did you see the Wonder Woman movie?" And it's like the Wonder Woman movie from like our universe. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that, to be honest. Like that's a little too meta, maybe.
Yeah.
And the toys thing in Shazam, like having the Batman toys and stuff, was cool because it was a different. It didn't really look for one. It was Conroy's voice when he throws the action figure in Shazam. It was a Kevin Conroy Batman voice. So something like that's fine because I feel like that's not kind of world breaking because you're like, oh, they don't know how the real
Yes.
Batman sounds because why would you? You know what I mean? So that's what like an animated Batman sounds like. But having just a promotional picture from the first Wonder Woman movie on a bus is a little weird.
It is.
It may be like one of the situations where, like in the Morbius trailer, where they have Sam Raimi Spider-Man on the poster. Maybe it's like a placeholder. I'm thinking they used the promotional photo from Wonder Woman, and maybe they'll have a like original art of Wonder Woman done to put on the bus in post production. I'm hoping,
but it also could be
it's
just
a little
a
cheesy.
production design. it could be seen just like an Easter egg, and they didn't pay as much attention or thought to this.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, or maybe we're overthinking it because it's a set photo, and this bus could pass by in the background, and it's like 2 pixels big, and we don't even
Yeah,
see it. We're sitting here going, "Oh my god!" Like what is
yeah,
happening? But you never know.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
And there's so much cool stuff written
it's
on
very
that
interesting.
because stuff like this would be cool to actually see on screen. I love watching stuff like this in the background, and if it's just a passing bus and all we see is Wonder Woman's photo and not the text clearly, I would kind of be like, oh man, you did all that work for just that. Because it's a cool message, right? Wonder Woman supports supporting children's fund, and that's a cool message to show that this universe, as she was in Zack Snyder's Justice League, she's a very inspirational superhero, right? So that will also be interesting to watch.
Yeah, as I said, like she's probably the best, most reliable character you could have on the face of like this. So, but even Lion 23 City goes. There's another pics of cars. One of them says something about
Yes.
Zeus. Others are from news channels. Yeah, that's the ones on the screen now. Yeah, pretty interesting one to have of Zeus here, especially. Um, we've seen Zeus from Zack Snyder's Justice League. So yeah, that's pretty cool. How is it kind of what example would I use? Like, could we see like because the flashpoint is happening? Maybe Flash is being manipulated some way, like a WandaVision. There's some kind of signs of alternate timelines, like something like this, or you know, um, of the previous time, or something. I don't know, but I just think I think there's going to be lots of Easter eggs and stuff to
Yeah.
break down in this movie.
Definitely. And also, Zeus is the god of lightning, so it makes sense to
Yes,
have
yes,
it in a Flash movie.
yeah.
But also, it's kind of meta because he's literally Wonder Woman's dad. So, I don't know how that
Yeah.
stuff will play out.
Yeah, it's could be just a cool Easter egg to have in the background, maybe. And but who knows who? Like rumors of Grant Gustin could appear in this as well. He probably will, since Ezra Miller showed up in the CW.
Yes.
I personally don't know about you guys. I would love to see because I watched the other night the Dead of Superman Lives: What Happened, directed by John Schnepp, who passed away a few years ago, sadly. Of the Tim Burton Nicolas Cage Superman movie that never happened.
I would
I
love
would love to
that.
see. I would love to see him pop up in the Superman because like people doubt that movie, and like Tim Burton made 2 great Batman movies, and you're going to doubt him. Nicolas Cage was an Oscar winner and was a big star back in the '90s. So I'm sure that movie would have been fine, but to see that even for just a second, see him pop up in the suit to get some sort of kind of closure role, I geek out.
I think we're going to get some kind of, at least I would. Maybe it's just me wishful thinking, but I think we're going to get he's going to get a peek into some other universes, and then he's going to eventually land in the one that the film mainly takes place in. But I could see like a reversal of the thing that happened in the Flash TV show, where we get, we saw it from Grant Gustin's side, where he comes in there and Green Arrow's talking to him and all that. I think we might get the reverse of it. So we see it from our film Barry's perspective. He pops up, says the same exact stuff, but it's filmed differently. And then he leaves and he was like, who the heck was that? And then maybe he shows up and he sees a Superman with long hair being played by Nicolas Cage in a glowing rainbow suit. And he's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally he ends up in this universe that the movie takes place in. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. I was wondering how they
Yeah.
were going to do the multiverse thing. Would it be like the CW where they show different universes, as in we as Barry go into Tim Burton's universe to meet Michael Keaton's Batman, or will they bring those characters into our universe? So how do you think that's going to play out?
Yeah, I guess what I was talking about because I was surprised to see the Central City cabs and cars and stuff, and then if that um car is Bruce Wayne's, which Bruce Wayne, the Keaton or Affleck, and then Sasha Calle is flying around in the same area as Supergirl. Uh, like, how is she in this world, or maybe Flash is in their world, or is Supergirl the Superman of the Tim Burton world, or was she in her own world, or was she descendant of Christopher Reeve's Superman, something like that. Like that's pretty cool too. Was Nicolas Cage maybe a Superman in the Burtonverse in an alternate timeline? I honestly don't know. I don't think Ben Affleck will be in the movie that much. I think Michael Keaton will be in it more. So if I was to make a guess right now, I'm going to think that he ends up in the Burtonverse for a good majority of the movie, maybe. I don't know, because there's no real villain for this movie. I don't know.
Doing that would be super expensive production wise though, because Burton's Gotham, which I love, has a very goth looking vibe to it. So you'll have to basically recreate all of that if you are going into that universe.
The good thing with that is though is that back in '89 when Tim Burton was doing it, they physically had to build
Right.
almost everything, or either that or it was a matte painting. It was either like a physical thing or but nowadays they can go and film on something like The Volume
That's true.
and just have like a CG version of Tim Burton's city going on. But I think with the way that they might go about this is, I think that Sasha Calle's Supergirl is the main DCU. I know I've seen a couple people think that wasn't the case, but I think she's mainstream DCEU, and I think that the Flash interacts with her maybe towards the end of the film and sets her up to get her own movie down the line. He comes back from all this crazy, time travel multiverse stuff, and then he comes back and is greeted by maybe time has passed. Maybe it's like 17 or 18 years past the end of Justice League. Clark and Lois have had their child, and it's Supergirl. And I think there's going to be like a time jump definitely at some point, but I do think the majority of the movie is going to take place in the Burtonverse, and have almost like how Flashpoint was, where Flash is stuck in this universe, and it's up to Keaton's Batman to help him get back home. Which is funny because then I feel like they could name it Flash No Way Home, like Spider-Man No Way Home, and it would still make sense. But as far as the other versions of people we would see, I think that I definitely think that there's going to be some kind of nod to Nicolas Cage Superman, and I think he was the Superman in the Burtonverse. And just have a passing, like Keaton's Batman's walking through, and he picks up a framed picture of him and that version of Superman, and just he glances at it, smiles, and sets it back down. Yeah. I think that would be perfect.
Just as you said that, how cool would it be as like a Watchmen photo with Michael Keaton's Batman and maybe Nicolas Cage like in a photo, something like that, on a wall with Catwoman or something.
Oh, like you've sold me now. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to be disappointed.
That would be great. That would be just you'd be sitting there, you'd be geeking out in the cinema, like, oh my god, that's cool.
Well, see, now I'm going to want a full-on introduction to what's happened in the Burtonverse over the last since the '90s, with a Zack Snyder style intro to it, with music and like slow mo and stuff. That would be incredible.
What's also interesting about this Flash movie is that, like you guys said, Andy doesn't seem to be either retconning or avoiding the Snyder DCEU that happened previously. The VFX artist said that, who is a very close friend of Zack Snyder, he said that Flash is basically the exact same that he was in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the story continues after that. So that's an interesting thing. That definitely got me more intrigued, because I didn't want this movie to be a retcon of any sorts or a reboot or something like that. So I'm glad that that's probably not going to be the case. We'll just have to wait and see. But Supergirl does look really good to me, and I'm really excited to see her performance. I do think that she is Kara. Maybe they'll do what they did on the Supergirl TV show and just somehow explain that, her universe just combined with our universe or something like that, and they just had to do that because it was ridiculous to begin with to have her on another Earth, where the crossovers are gonna happen. that whole device to travel to that timeline, all that shit was ridiculous. So I think they'll have to figure out some way to, because I think that her getting her own movie even solidifies that they want her more in the DCEU, and if that's going to happen, I think it's definitely going to be Kara and not someone from the future. So I I do think that the look is very similar to um, the Lana character from the comics. But that's just probably what Andy Muschietti liked and wanted Sasha to look like. Because I'm not gonna lie, that's I think the best Supergirl look I've seen so far. And before this look, I liked the Injustice 2 look. I think that was pretty good. But
I agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then this was also really good, and I think it's just the design that they took it from that character. I think it's definitely going to be Kara.
The thing that I'm wondering though is, are we going to get to see her do anything, like, because we don't even know who the villain of this film is really. So
Maybe
I'm
Reverse
hoping that maybe we
Flash.
get to see her, like, oh yeah, see, that would be amazing. Because I want to see her do
Yeah,
something in this. Like, I mean, yeah, it's going to be cool even if she just shows up for a minute and talks about something. But like, I do want to see her in maybe in an action scene. I
yes,
think that would be. I want to see the new suit in action. So this, there's a reason we haven't found out who the villain
yeah,
is yet, and I think that's on purpose
I
for
agree.
sure.
Yeah, I could see the villain being maybe like a puppet master, maybe not revealed until the last few moments. Not Flash 2, maybe Reverse Flash, similar to kind of how maybe Flash TV series did it in season 1. So yeah, I think a lot of I think while we're watching the movie, the villain of the movie will be kind of Barry Allen himself. you know, he obviously runs fast and it changes the timeline in some way. So I'm wondering what led him to do that. We know that his father was going to be in the movie as well. It's a recast. Unfortunately, Billy Crudup
Oh,
couldn't do it.
that's the
One in
one
the
thing
morning
that
show.
I'm very
But
disappointed about.
yeah, and I talked about this as well. We could have had a Watchmen crossover. He was Doctor Manhattan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was the comedian. Patrick Wilson, whose Orm was Night Owl. So much potential lost. But yeah, it's kind of annoying. But I think Ron Livingston is the actor's name. He's coming in to replace him.
I
Kirstie
do like
Clemens
Ron
is
Livingston.
he was in was he in Parks and Rec? No.
No, Office Space was his famous
Oh,
thing. I think was his most famous role. But he's
okay.
fantastic. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see him in it. I do like Billy Crudup a lot. And I loved the extra stuff we got to see of them in Zack's Justice League.
yeah,
Uh,
Yeah,
Fleshed it out a lot more.
yeah.
And it's a shame that we won't see him in it anymore. But I do like
yeah,
Ron Livingston. He's really good.
I'm happy that Kirstie Clemens is back as well. Thought she was like even she was in a
Yes.
small part, but I just thought their connection in such a small, short scene was just breathtaking. So to see them back and interact together now is going to be awesome. So the Flash movie has a lot of potential, and it's hard to know how to feel about it because I don't know what it is yet. So I have to wait for that first trailer. But all this stuff is getting me pretty much excited. So that's not a bad thing.
I agree. And I'm just waiting for that first trailer because I want to see what the tone of this movie is and what the story is, how the how all these characters fit into the story and all that stuff. So yeah, forward to that. And Lion City says, I don't think this movie will have a villain. I feel like it will be more like Back to the Future, an adventure movie with Barry himself being the villain. Well, that's kind of what Sean said, and it makes sense. Why not? You know. But I do think that it will have a villain because there are so many characters in this, and I think the villain will be big because Flash already fought Steppenwolf and the Parademons and all that stuff in Justice League, and he basically saves everyone, saves the whole planet. um Maybe it's not that underscored when you don't think about it, but he basically did exactly what Superman did in Man of Steel. He saved the whole planet, and after that, there's only going going down. So
It could be a Scott Pilgrim situation where we have the Flash and then like a negative version of not like Reverse Flash, but it's just also Ezra Miller, and he has to stop himself from changing the timeline. I think that would be kind
yeah,
of cool. And getting to
Yeah.
see Ezra interact with like a darker version of himself, I think would be really interesting.
yeah. That's kind of what they did on the TV show as
Whatever,
well.
whatever Andy Muschietti is going for, it seems to be pretty bold. And this is it's very hard to make a good movie, but when he has all this up against him of introducing all these characters and maybe fans not knowing what it's going to be like, he has he's put himself under a lot of pressure. But these artists probably perform well under pressure, so looking very intrigued to see what he can do with this, because it seems very different than anything we've ever seen before. Even though Spider-Man 3 is coming first, and will probably have similarities to this.
If it's anything like the two It films, like in terms of where he could go from 1 minute having like a really heartwarming scene between the main kids in the movie to all of a sudden scaring the bejesus out of
Yeah.
everybody with like horror elements, I think there's potential in this movie to have it be absolutely just off the wall crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.